Good morning, everybody from Australia.
Good morning from Worcester.
Worcester. Worcester. We have that, speaking of scheduling and all that stuff, we have that meetup tonight, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do it with that other investor call.
Yeah, I saw that on the calendar, and I was like, maybe we could split or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, those Bay State, those breweries, they don't pack the same punch when you don't drink anything.
Yeah, true. I started. Not that I would ever most networking events I would never. I'm not like going there to like get hammed, but like I would have like a few drinks, and like now I'm like last one, like at the Western Mass one, I had none.
Yeah.
Like I might have one, maybe two.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I want to be
sharp. Pre-COVID, I feel like all the guys that just went to the networking events, especially the Boston crew, just went to meet up and drink with. Like we just met to drink with our buddies. Like that was networking enough.
And it was like, sometimes you would meet some people, but like you were kind of there as like everyone kind of knew so many people that you didn't have like this. It wasn't, maybe it was just like it didn't feel as important to be super sharp at the time because like had such this like community thing going on. Everyone knew each other. Like even if there was someone new, like it was just kind of like loose. But yeah, now I like to be sharp.
This is us just growing up, becoming professional.
If you said, you have to, you can only have one drink at a networking event, but you're going to get rich, I'd say, where do I sign?
Yeah, totally. Honestly, unpopular opinion. I think drinking is substantially on its way out. I think a lot of people aren't drinking as much. I think there's going to be a new market in the I think plenty of people. I don't think breweries are going to go out of business, but a lot of other bar owners have said that like alcohol sales are down compared to where they used to be, and I think there's going to be a mocktail market.
I agree with you on the first part, and I disagree on the second part.
You don't think there's going to be a mocktail market?
I mean, some people, but like, the desire to feel sort of euphoric or out of body is for humans, I think is always going to be present. I think people are just waking up to more and more to the dangers of alcohol in excess. And there's the technology. I'm pulling something up that I'll show you. So I'm looking at the other screen. The technology for alternative drinks is much better than it used to be, especially with sort of the new laws that have been passed around different alternative substances. So like this one, got some free marketing for Brez, but it's like micro dose cannabis and mushrooms. So you're like, it's not like a cannabis drink where you drink it and like you're like in 45 minutes you're like face down on the couch. But 21st favorite YouTuber, hey, that's pretty high. Thanks, world champion. But these are like, you drink like, I mean, I've never tried these, but you drink like, it's 2.5 milligrams of THC, which is like not much. So you drink like 2 to 3 to 4 of these, kind of like you would at the same pace that you drink alcohol, and you're not going to get. Some people can get hammed on like drunk on 4 drinks. I don't think like even the lightest weight person would sort of be as inebriated as alcohol would make you on the same amount of this, but it's designed to like be able to drink at the same pace and kind of give you that like a light euphoric uppity feeling. So this is one Brez, they're crushing it. I've heard.
I feel like you're proving my point.
Yeah, but this isn't a mocktail.
Sure, it is.
I mean, sure, if you want to call this a mocktail, then I agree with you. I'm just not paying $12 for fruit juice.
Yeah, this is just, well, I mean, this will be $12. This will be, tastes like Truly, but has mushrooms in it.
Yeah, this is $40 for 6. So what is that? $8 a piece? No, $7 a piece, something like that. Or one-time purchase, $50. So, and then this was another one that I saw recently. I'm just giving these companies free ads. Maybe this will boost our algorithm or boost us in the algorithm or something. But yeah, this has got a little bit of THC, CBG, never heard of this, and a little bit of CBD. So it doesn't seem to be advertising the mushroom component, which I don't think this is the psilocybin mushroom. This is the lion's mane. Not going to be seeing God. This is something that's quite a bit different. Check out the mushroom documentary on Netflix. Very cool. Mushrooms are a wild organism, and they are. It is, there are many different types. But yeah, that is another one. So deal, these are all going to subscriptions, but I think is interesting. Smart.
I think the whole world is moving to a subscription model.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point people are going to get at some point you can only subscribe to so many things. But if it can be affordable, then yeah, I mean, I certainly like subscription businesses. But I think the thing with subscriptions is people are I'm still way more likely to buy something one time than to subscribe, unless it's something I know I want. Even things that for my house, like paper towels or whatever I buy on Amazon, right? You can subscribe to that stuff and it saves you 5% or whatever, and it automatically reorders it. But something about not having control, about knowing when the money is spent, I still don't subscribe even to things that I buy over and over again. So having the options is good, but it's just it's about it's the frequency and then not having control. So at some point you have so many subscriptions, you're like, oh my God, where's all my money going? And then you have companies like Rocket Money coming out where they cancel your subscriptions for you.
A little fun fact. Apparently, if we talk about drugs or alcohol or mushrooms, we get way more comments.
Apparently so.
Than we do if we talk about real estate.
We're not even really talking about drugs. We're just talking we're just talking about different drinks and alcohol alternatives. We wear hoodies every day. This must be your first day in the comments.
Welcome to the show.
We're in a row wearing a hoodie. This is just a different one.
Yeah. We're real estate guys in Massachusetts. We buy, fix, sell. That's our model. Look at distressed vacant property, and for fun, we look on MLS every day and look at what single families are available for sale that could be potentially good deals, and we look at napkin math and just talk about them. So yeah, normally we don't.
Should I pivot to our MLS? What we actually do?
Sure. Although, does getting high help you sell more? I don't know. I don't think
experience? So. No.
Speaking from experience, remember that one time? Oh gosh, we were at a Celtics game, and then that investor meeting came in, a new lead came in, and you were like, I don't think you should take this call. And you're like, I'll do it. No, we didn't win that one.
We didn't close that, no.
Yeah, I should have been honestly, I think it would have been better to just tell the truth.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm buzzed at a Celtics game. This is not a good time to talk about real estate. Yeah. Or maybe they might have preferred the conversation just structuring it they knew. You can't be buzzed and not try to sound buzzed. It just doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
You can hear that out.
Everyone's always tell.
Yeah. So I'd be really good with your money.
Aren't real estate guys supposed to wear suits? No.
You'd think that though.
Yeah,
You'd think that, but
maybe in
less.
1995. But no, I mean today, like, I mean, obviously, like, we kind of get up here and shoot the shit, and we're this is more of a casual recording. In our more professional recordings, I've got another shirt that I'll wear.
I wear a nicer hoodie.
It's a tuxedo hoodie. No, but we don't just slop around in hoodies all day. We're just comfortable hanging out, talking on Find That Flip. So
I think you're probably thinking of like the really uber big successful developers that are putting up like towers in Boston. We're a little smaller, we're doing more like regular people real estate work. What's the most overpriced piece of real estate? I'll tell you this, it's no longer office real estate in Boston.
true.
That's
What
on.
was overpriced? I mean, honestly, I'm gonna say like probably like luxury single family or like luxury condos. But the reason I say that is because I would never pay $20 million for 2,000 square feet or like 3,000. I don't know whatever that gets you in Manhattan or Miami, when I could spend a quarter of that and get something that I'm going to get as just as much utility out of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we're on. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be cool to have 5 million? I mean,
yeah.
You go
like if I'm going for like luxury condo, and it's like, I mean, I guess a $5 million spender and a $20 million spender are completely different buyers. But I don't know. I just don't. It depends on what you find value in. But yes, Will, I would also rather have $5 million houses.
Twyford's in the chat, bro. I'm sorry I owe you a call. I had a great call with him, Harrison, 10 days ago. Yes, he's crushing it. He's gonna come on for a podcast. Will, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, he's doing really well. Yeah. Buying a lot of getting really good numbers. Lower priced, a lot of lower priced singles. Him and in Iowa stacking days. Yeah, him and Keith, man, they're both kind of doing similar sounding models.
Cool.
Oh, look at that, Alexander! You're my favorite transgender YouTuber.
You have superseded Blair White.
Oh gosh, that's cool. I would love to meet Blair White. Put Blair White on the show.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not bringing in Johnny Sins.
Come
I have no idea who that is.
Go on, just do a quick Google.
Should I share my screen?
No, you should not. Yeah, definitely. Man. Well, honestly, I was saying, I don't know if you came in the very beginning, but we were just talking about alcohol and like mushrooms, and it's been much more successful than just talking about real estate.
Yeah. Next, we're talking about politics.
Yeah. Oh God.
The chat's gonna blow up.
Dude, I would happily start a separate like YouTube personality channel to talk about politics. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think I'd do a lot of listening.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. It's almost like you kind of like, you definitely have to have separate channels. You can't like merge or like blend your channels. It's like one topic or the other. People don't go to, like, I don't listen to business podcasts to listen to them talk about politics, and don't listen to politics podcasts to listen to them talk about business. As much as I kind of like the idea of like blending things that like aren't typically, I mean, I guess business and politics kind of are intertwined. Yeah, I'm trying to like blow my keep my blood pressure down.
Harry Boner. Yeah.
Boner,
Harry
yeah.
Boner. Yeah.
Harry Boner is my akin to Johnny Sin's name. It's Hairy.
Oh my gosh. I love it. This is so funny.
Oh man.
I can't wait to tell I can't wait to tell Chloe. Dude, now they're attacking us.
We got some other real estate comments in here. Do you ever consider RVs real estate? An RV park, not the RV itself. It's more of like a tool, I guess. I mean, yeah. Because I guess an RV could be, I still wouldn't exactly consider it real estate. You can make a business out of RVs by leasing them, like buying a bunch and like leasing them short term, or you could like lease a campground spot, own the RV, lease a campground spot for the whole season, own the RV, put the RV on the spot, and then Airbnb it. So there are certainly real estate strategies with RVs, but I wouldn't consider the RV itself real estate.
Yeah, that's a niche model.
Yeah. Same commenter. What are opportunities that don't require capital or debt? It's tough.
Door knocking.
Yeah, door knocking. You putting deals under contract for $1 and then negotiating the short sale, and then
Yep.
selling that contract.
Yep, that's Will Twyford, Bill Twyford, our OG coaches. That was kind of the model they taught us. You can talk to homeowners that are effectively, they're in what we call pre-foreclosure. So that means they're behind on their mortgage and they're trending towards foreclosure. But you can go talk to those people and say, hey, like, I understand there's some problems going on. Like, what are you trying to do? You want to keep your house? If that's the case, then you can point them to like a nonprofit that can help them work with like a loan mortgage modification or potentially a refinance, if possible. Or if they're like, no, I'm just gonna sell my house, then now you're into I love these comments. Or you can get into then working to negotiate on behalf of them with the bank. Or if you're just a real estate agent, it's a great way to pick up regular listings, and you can get 2 to 3% commission on average to sell those pieces of real estate. And then that's a good way to make some money, and you can kind of like stack your chips, if you will. And if you want to get into investing some way, somehow, then you can stack chips and roll it in.
For sure. If you're not gonna, if investing that doesn't require capital or debt is going to be require a lot of your labor. Yeah, which you're participating in an investment, but I guess your investment is your time, but it's not like not an investor in the traditional sense, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Surplus funds recovery. No, I do not know what that is.
Let's see. You should have left a forwarding address with the trustee handling the foreclosure sale. The process of reclaiming any excess money remaining after a property has been sold at a foreclosure. That would be like if that would be. Thank you for the compliment, Gully Gang. That would be if you lost your house to the bank. They've now gone through the process and they effectively own it. Then if they were to sell it above and beyond, I guess, what your mortgage was post auction. Thank you, Mr. Twyford, for the alley oop there. Then you could recover. But we're talking about like getting in the deal, finding the deal before it goes to auction. Typically, when it goes to auction or foreclosure, that's when there's a lot more competition, right? It's definitely harder to get the deal while it's in pre-foreclosure because you have to talk to the human, you have to talk to the homeowner, and you have to be a people person to deal, but that's a better way to find opportunity, especially without really any real money. Remember, we put our first house under contract to buy. We showed it to the closing table and we put it under agreement for $1.
That's right.
Well, we put literally all of our deals, our first 7 deals, under agreement for $1.
It's but it's also like it sounds funny, but it when in those situations when you're dealing with a homeowner who's in pre-foreclosure and they're accepting a short sale, and they've agreed that they're going to sell their house to you, makes no difference to them how much money you put down on it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
So like if like in that context, like you should be putting down $1. But when you get to the closing table and you're working with a closing attorney who doesn't know anything about the history of the deal, and they just see, they're like, oh, okay, you have $1 in escrow. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. And so, for anybody that doesn't know, a short sale is basically when, let's say, you owe 300 grand to the bank, but your house is worth 250. So if the bank agrees to let the homeowner sell their home for 250, the bank is agreeing to take a $50,000 loss. So that's what a short sale is. So it doesn't really, what it usually is just doing is giving the homeowner like back some, it's relieving the pressure of this kind of like financial mountain that just keeps building. So yeah, to them, they really don't care. And a lot of times the banks will also, they appreciate the short sale. They'd rather free up the money. And a lot of times they will actually work to give the homeowner basically like move out assistance. So anywhere from like $3,000 to $10,000, the bank will actually pay the home seller, because the banks have to do like forced place insurance, which is more expensive, and they have to put like an X amount of dollars in reserves to hold, basically because their asset, the bank's asset, the loan, has now become a liability because it's not performing. So they get triggered to have to, do certain things, and they'd prefer to they don't want to be landlords, right? Banks don't want to be landlords.
Banks are in the business of loaning money, not owning property.
Yep, totally.
They're very bad at owning property.
Yep.
So, and typically you'll see short sale situations after like maybe in like a post boom market, like a market that maybe went bust, which doesn't necessarily mean like the country, like you'll like in the United States broadly after like 2007, 8, 9, because the real estate downturn was so widely spread, you saw them kind of all across, but like you'll see real estate markets tend to be a little bit more local specific. So like in a couple markets we were working in, they were inflated very quickly, even more so than others. And you get into maybe you overpaid, or you refinance your property because there were really high leverages at the time, and you were just clawing for more and more debt, and then all of a sudden the value dropped in a couple of years, and market values plummeted around you. That's a situation where you'll see, like, because typically you're like, oh, how does the value of a property get lower than the value of the loan? That makes no sense. It's certainly not anyone's intention when they go into a deal, but it can happen in a situation like that. Or if a homeowner maybe stops paying and their loan or payoff amount starts getting higher and higher because their interest is adding up. And then maybe that's like over like multiple years. And then over that time, the property also gets really distressed, like gets beat up, like, things just happen that, can make things kind of start falling apart, and that will bring the property value down. So,
something we were literally just talking about yesterday was, I guess it's almost 12% of homeowners with FHA mortgages are in default right now.
I think that was actually multifamily. But because I It could be. I'm gonna search, but keep going.
Yeah. So I think what'll be interesting to see is Massachusetts specifically. Somebody asked where we were located. So we're in Massachusetts, and we like Western Massachusetts specifically for our deals. We basically target and buy um, small to medium sized apartment buildings. We buy them usually really beat up. So we're looking at vacant buildings. We target old industrial mill towns that were once very prosperous, and then when we lost all of our manufacturing and textile manufacturing, a lot of these communities lost their wealth. They became smaller as the jobs left for overseas manufacturing. But a lot of those communities are now rebounding. So as people move back to the community, as new forms of income or job growth comes, these markets start to need more housing. So we'll target these small to medium sized deals that are vacant, and we'll go through and we'll renovate them completely and then rent them out. But interestingly enough, Massachusetts wants 20,000 more units, apartments, homes, however you want to, rentals described. Um, they want 20,000 more units in the next 10 years. And I think that'll be really challenging. We'll see. I think it'll be challenging to build without them freeing up some like zoning. It's hard to get these things approved. It's hard to get these things permitted. Um, so with such a massive demand for more housing, I don't know. Um, I don't know if we're going to see the market drop, even with all of these homeowners in challenging positions, because I think there's so many people ready to just step in and take the spot.
Yeah. So I'm seeing here in this one article, FHA, and this is fourth quarter of 2024. FHA delinquency increased by 57 basis points to 11.03%.
Yeah.
Total delinquency rate for conventional loans decreased by 1 point to 2.62%. I think FHA loans versus conventional, FHA tends to have a higher delinquency rate. But delinquency rate for mortgage loans on 1 to 4 unit residential properties increased to a seasonally adjusted rate of 3.98% of all loans.
Hmm.
So, seems to be rising. But, that could be temporary. It doesn't necessarily mean that there was a much sharper increase in the beginning of 2020 of delinquency.
It's hard out there for everybody.
Yeah. So, we shall see.
Ooh, are there any parts of your routine process that you'd like to automate? Trying to find some ideas. Automate. Harrison, you want to automate anything?
Yeah, sure. You can automate the entire job. Take me out of a job. I don't care. No, I'm kidding. I would say, one of the best things that could be automated is, I mean, we're looking to integrate a lot of this stuff, but like fielding calls and triaging them, like triaging work orders, like is something an emergency or is this just sort of a regular complaint? Or is this, someone just calling to, talk about the weather, or is this someone calling because they have an issue with their rent? Triaging the sort of the intake of a variety of calls that you get from tenants and creating, sort of the next actionable step from that. It's probably one of the best things. If you want to automate toilet plunging, that would be a great one too.
Well, you're gonna have to. Maybe we can share your cold caller, and we can just use her. I don't know, Will, if you heard that I won someone's favorite transgender award, um, which was my favorite comment of the day so far. Uh, but if maybe we can share your cold caller to help us target homeowners out here, because there's got to be this great opportunity. $5 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I think?
Just going for volume, it seems like, which is great. Just like whoever people, like you said, people who answer, just chasing them down.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are worth talking to. You don't need to talk to people that don't want to talk to you.
And look, there's a lot of technology solutions out there, and most of them don't do everything for you like we would all hope they would do. There's kinks in the armor at some level, but really, I think, when you're looking at, automating, it really just comes down to systems and structure. If you've ever read the book The E-Myth, you've got, like the technician who actually does the work. You've got the middle management who manages the technicians, and then you've got the, the top tier, which is like the entrepreneur, right? And even any real entrepreneur never gets to fully just step away. They're always just managing a tier underneath them. So it really comes down to just identifying good processes, a good a good process, a good structure to run those processes through, and then you bring in team members, because I think everybody wants to automate everything and dehumanize it, but at the end of the day, this isn't a substantially human-based business. Um, you're working with people. You're working with where they live. I mean, it's arguably the most important thing to them. Where they rest their head at night. They spend a lot of the time in their home, so you can't really. You can offload things, but it really comes down to more people. And you can. It's HGTV makes the real estate renovation business. Does HGTV have anything with landlords?
No, that sounds like more like ETV. or MTV, not HG.
Yeah, that sounds more like MTV. Land or landlords? Two couples debate buying a single family or cashing in on. Oh, never mind. All right. Remember when we got on HGTV?
That's right. Well, our house was.
Our house was.
We weren't. They said we weren't pretty enough.
You know what? We should reach out. Remember when we were being pitched for an HGTV show, and they said we were too young.
Mm-hmm.
We were too young, and they said the market we were in was too rich. It's too expensive. Americans couldn't resonate.
Yeah.
You mean you're not excited about a $500,000 900 square foot condo?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Honestly, guys, this was such a fun stream. Normally we talk about specific deals, but if you haven't, thanks for all the action in the comments. You guys were a lot of fun. Feel free to subscribe. We will be here tomorrow, and maybe we'll look at a real deal.
Yeah, we'll look at a real deal. I'll wear my tuxedo hoodie.
Ooh.
And we'll actually do a find that flip.
All right, man. Will, thanks for hanging out with us. I'm going to send you a message so we can regroup and get you on the podcast. If you guys haven't, feel free to check out wollastonrei.com. That's our website. And if you're an accredited investor and you want to participate in some real estate deals, we've got investment opportunities. It was a lot of fun. That is not MJ in the bag. Who's that handsome devil with the guitar?
It's John Mayer.
That's who it is.
Yeah, someone brought out the album earlier, Sop Rock. I actually have a bunch of albums, and I want to bring them up and then have like an album of the day and swap them out.
That could be your thing.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I've just been too lazy to go get the box from the basement.
Yeah, before we get really big, make sure all those books are good.
Yeah, no, they are. I don't know if you can see them, but I've got like Lord of the Rings trilogy up there. You can see People's History of the United States. I'm looking at them through my camera. The Lost Symbol, great Dan Brown book. Steve Jobs' biography. There's a few good ones in there.
All right. No vampire romance novels for you.
No, that's no. The girls' shelf is out of view.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you mañana.